Thank you for tuning in with your host, Tom Atwater. And this is the story of a man named Kevin Jiang. And this story takes place in East Rock section of New Haven, Connecticut, on February 6, 2021. Kevin Jiang, a 26-year-old Yale graduate student and former Army National Guardsman, spent the day with Zion Perry, his fiancée, who was also a graduate student there. The couple went hiking and ice fishing, followed by dinner at her home in the affluent East Rock section of New Haven. Police say that at around 8:30 p.m., Jiang left her apartment and headed off in his Prius to his house, where he lived with his mother. He barely made it 2 blocks before his car was struck from behind by a dark SUV in what appeared to be a minor fender bender. Police believe he got out of his car, likely to check on how the other driver was and exchange information. Instead, the other motorist shot Jiang 8 times, with several bullets fired so close to his head that the exploding gunpowder left burn marks on his face. David Zaweski, the lead homicide detective in Jiang's murder, talked with 48 Hours correspondent Anne-Marie Green for this week's all-new story, The Ivy League Murder, now streaming on Paramount+. Zaweski said that one witness told investigators she heard the minor fender bender, looked out a window, heard gunshots, and saw muzzle flashes from a weapon. And another witness added that she not only heard the gunshots, but she saw the shooter, dressed all in black, standing over his fallen victim, continuing to fire bullets into him after he was down. Detectives would later recover a chilling home surveillance video that virtually captured Kevin's final moments alive, confirming the witnesses' accounts. But deepening the mystery was the fact that the 8 spent shell casings lying near Jiang were .45 caliber bullets, and they were similar to .45 caliber shell casings found at the scene of 4 recent shootings in the area. According to police, a gunman had fired .45 caliber bullets into 4 homes over the last several months. In those cases, no one had been hurt. Investigators interviewed the homeowners but were unable to find any connection between them. At first glance, Jiang's murder had all the earmarks of a violent case of road rage. But Zaweski and his colleague Stephen Cunningham quickly began to wonder if there was more. "It seems a little bit more personal," Zaweski told Green. "When you have someone laying on the ground and not moving, what would cause someone to continue firing?" Cunningham questioned the car accident. Was it deliberate to get him out of the vehicle? Possibly something that was planned? He said. And if he was specifically targeted, Zaweski continued, what could have happened in his life to drive someone to do this? It was a logical investigative avenue to pursue, but after breaking the tragic news to Jiang's mother and his fiancée, investigators say the portrait that emerged of Kevin was that of a gifted young man who couldn't have had an enemy in the world. He was living with and taking care of his mother, whom he brought from Seattle to live with him. He volunteered to work with the homeless, was deeply religious, and was a former lieutenant in the U.S. Army National Guard. Just a week earlier, he had proposed to Perry, which she posted on Facebook. Virtually on the anniversary of their meeting at a Christian retreat, Pastor Gregory Hendrickson summed up the young, newly engaged couple for Green. They clearly shared a lot in common, he began. They both loved nature. Zion was a scientist studying molecular biophysics and biochemistry. He was in the School of the Environment. They're both brilliant and hardworking students, he said. And yet they didn't feel like their accomplishments were what defined them at the deepest level. Zaweski and Cunningham knew they faced a daunting investigation. Jiang's murder may just have been another random shooting by the mysterious .45 caliber gunman. Whoever the shooter was, he was still on the loose. The suspect was out there, Zaweski said. He wasn't identified. We didn't know where he went, and we didn't know what he would be doing next. With few leads to pursue and a vague image of a dark SUV from surveillance footage at the scene, they knew they likely would need a break. And they got one the following day when they received an urgent call from Sergeant Jeffrey Mills of the nearby North Haven Police. He provided them with startling information about 2 different 911 calls. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for part 2 of this story.